Under the pale winter sun, James's small farm had become a peaceful refuge for the girl, who had once known only the harsh life of slavery under Powell's ruthless hand. With James, the wealthy CEO of C Company, she discovered a sense of calm she'd never experienced before, like a bird finally set free after years of confinement. Though their love transcended the boundaries of wealth, it still faced its own silent storms. James's father had learned about Diep through Lynn, and doubts about her past were beginning to seep into their relationship. In episode 18, we'll reveal whether their love is strong enough to overcome these challenges. On a winter morning at the farm, the biting chill still reigned despite a few weak rays piercing the thick fog, illuminating the lush vegetable beds that Diep tended every day. Standing on the porch with a worn cloth bag in her hand, her heart brimming with determination for the new day, her eyes shone with hope amid the skin-deep cold. Today, she planned to head to the town market to buy a bag for herself and a scarf for James. A small token of silent gratitude for the man who had transformed her life, leading her from the darkness of slavery into the light of freedom. The cold seeped through her patched-up jacket, making her chapped fingers tremble as they clutched the bag, tiny red cracks mapping her skin like delicate stitches. But she paid it no mind, warmed by thoughts of James. He deserves this, she thought, her heart fluttering as she recalled his gentle smile from the previous night when they shared a humble dinner in a wooden house, the soft glow of an oil lamp casting a warm light across his face like no one else had ever done. Haki, her little dog, scampered around her feet, his wagging tail and damp nose softly brushing against her hand, as if begging her to stay a moment longer. His scruffy fur, speckled with dew that sparkled in the sunlight, made her smile as she knelt to pet him and whispered, "Haki, I'm just going to the market for a bit. Be a good boy at home." She fastened his leash, her cold hands trembling as they brushed against the rough fabric, then let him dash freely across the yard, his tiny paws leaving innocent marks on the moist ground. Watching Haki play among the vegetable rows, she felt a lightness, as if part of the heavy burdens from her past were slowly lifting. She set off along the bumpy dirt road toward town, her old bicycle creaking under the force of her determined, slender legs. The cold wind whipped through her hair and under her thin jacket, sending shivers down her spine, yet she pressed on. "I have to keep going," she reminded herself. No longer merely a recipient of help, but someone determined to stand on her own. Her legs pedaled faster, fueled by a burning resolve like a small, steadfast flame amid the winter chill, even as her hands numbed from the deep, penetrating cold. At the bustling town market, where voices, laughter, and the hum of vehicles mingled with the faint aroma of street food and smoke from vendor carts, Diep parked her bicycle in a familiar corner marked by the muddied footprints of previous vendors. She then approached a stall selling bags. The worn rubber sandals on her feet made soft thuds on the wet ground as she asked gently, "Excuse me, how much is this bag?" pointing to a simple brown canvas bag. The middle-aged vendor, her kindly smile etched with the lines of time, replied, "It's only 30,000 dong, dear." Diep nodded and said, "I'll take it." She counted out the crumpled notes from yesterday's vegetable sales, handing over just enough money, and accepted the bag with a sense of quiet pride, as it was the first thing she had bought for herself since leaving Pow's home. Clutching the bag, she felt a newfound taste of freedom flowing through her like a cool, refreshing stream across barren land. Continuing through the market, her eyes were drawn to colorful clothes hanging on a line, fabrics fluttering in the breeze like brilliant butterflies. So beautiful, she thought, her hand gently grazing her own worn-out, frayed jacket, a rough reminder of what she once endured. A pang of longing mixed with self-doubt crossed her mind as she watched the busy shoppers, feeling a fleeting inferiority in comparison. Lost in these thoughts, a familiar voice broke through from behind her, interrupting her reverie. "Oh, is that Diep?" Startled, she turned to see a man wearing a face mask, his eyes lighting up as he recognized her in the crowded throng. "Hi there, what are you doing here?" he asked in a friendly tone. Diep hesitated for a moment before replying, "Hello, and who might you be?" The man laughed heartily, lowering his mask to reveal a familiar face. "It's Tung," she exclaimed with a smile, relief washing over her as she recognized the old friend who had once helped her during her darkest days, like a ray of light piercing the winter gloom. "Great to see you," Tung said warmly, his eyes sparkling under the weak sunlight. "What are you looking for today?" Diep replied softly, "I need to buy a scarf for James, but I haven't found one yet. Do you know where I might find it?" Tung nodded and pointed toward the far side of the market. "You'll have better luck over there. By the way, have you had breakfast yet?" he asked. Diep shook her head, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. "I haven't, but I'm used to it." Tung chuckled, exclaiming, "It's been too long since we last met. You helped me out before, and I still haven't returned the favor. Let me treat you to breakfast." Though Diep initially hesitated, Tung's insistence and genuine smile eventually won her over. Calling out to the stall owner, he ordered, "Hey, get me 2 bowls of your best noodle soup with plenty of meat." Diep couldn't help but smile at the sight, a small, warm reminder of the family she once never had. After their meal, with a hot bowl of noodles still warming her cold hands, Diep thanked Tung quietly. "Thank you for breakfast." Tung grinned broadly. "How about I walk you home?" he offered. Diep shook her head, her cheeks still flushed in the gentle morning light. "No, thank you. I still need to find that scarf for James." Tung nodded, patting her shoulder as he took his leave. Diep then continued her search at a stall selling scarves. Approaching a vendor, she asked in a timid voice, "Do you sell scarves here?" "Yes, we do." "Are you looking for one for a man or a woman?" the vendor inquired, gesturing to the vibrant array hanging nearby. "For a man," Diep replied, browsing the collection as her eyes flitted over soft knitted fabrics. The vendor smiled kindly. "Feel free to choose whichever you like." Diep eventually picked out a deep blue wool scarf, paying 60,000 dong with crumpled bills. Her hands trembled slightly with anticipation as she imagined gifting it to James, a tangible piece of hope and gratitude for the change he'd brought into her life. Back at the farm, she placed the scarf on a scarred wooden table in her humble home. Sunlight filtered through a crack in the window, making the scarf gleam like a beacon amid the rustic surroundings. Preparing to chop some firewood to ward off the winter chill, she could still feel the morning and evening cold seeping into every corner of her small wooden house, her breath forming a thin mist in the air. Gripping her axe, she began chopping the stack of dry wood she'd gathered earlier, the rhythmic sound of splitting logs echoing in the quiet space, each piece breaking apart under the steady force of her lean but determined arms. Watching Haki dash about the yard, she thought, "He's grown used to this place and so have I," feeling a sense of release from the chains of her past. Like a bird finally soaring in a free sky. Meanwhile, James drove to the farm, his heart light with anticipation of seeing Diep. The smooth hum of his luxury car mingled with the soft sounds of a rugged country road. He pulled up by the wooden fence, stepped out and called out, "Diep!" but found no answer, only the sound of the wind whistling through the barren trees. "Maybe she's out collecting firewood," he mused, venturing into the backyard where dry logs lay scattered on the damp ground, his elongated shadow stretching under the sunlight filtering through the branches. "Diep!" he called again, his voice resonating across the peaceful expanse, his polished leather shoes splattered with mud but unnoticed in his excitement. Diep, busy chopping wood, heard his call and felt a childlike thrill inside, yet decided to play a little surprise. Hiding behind a large tree, her breath visible in the cold air, her eyes sparkled mischievously as she waited for him to come closer. "It's so sunny today, I need a break," James murmured as he entered the shade of the tree, unaware of Diep's playful presence just behind him. Suddenly, Diep jumped out with a gleeful shout, "Boo!" and gently pushed him from behind. Startled, James stumbled and fell onto the ground, his eyes wide with surprise. "Oh no!" he exclaimed. Diep hurried over, dropping to her knees beside him, her voice trembling with concern. "James, wake up. Please, don't scare me like that." Gently shaking him, she continued, tears threatening to spill from her eyes. "I was only joking. I didn't mean to frighten you." James slowly opened his eyes, then grinned with a playful tone. "You really got me there. Now you owe me." Diep sighed in relief, dabbing at her tears with a shaky smile. "Are you all right? Please, don't ever scare me like that again. I was really frightened." Taking her hand in his, James helped her sit down on the grass, the warmth of his touch easing her worry. "I'm sorry. I promise I won't ever make you worry again," he said softly, his gaze as gentle as a full moon's glow. Standing up, he playfully declared, "Were you chopping wood? Let me help you out." Diep, still suspicious yet touched, asked, "Can you really do that?" With a self-assured pat on his chest, James replied, "Of course. I'm a man after all, and I've got plenty of muscles." Together, they chopped wood as Haki scampered after them, the harmonious sounds of the axe and their laughter blending like a simple melody of joy amid the cold winter. That evening, James invited Diep to his home, a quaint old wooden house built in 1997, cherished for its rustic charm, quietly nestled amid suburban fields, with the soft glow of the moon lighting up its worn roof tiles. "This is my home. Don't mind the mess," he said as he led her inside, his warm, steady voice resonating through the still space, the faint aroma of wood lingering from the aged walls. They prepared dinner together, buying fresh soybeans, crisp carrots, and a live tilapia from a nearby market, the sound of the fish flapping in its plastic bag mingling with their shared laughter. Let me handle the cooking, James offered, rolling up his vest sleeves, but Diep insisted, her eyes determined. We'll get it done faster if we work together. I want to help you. As they cooked, the mouth-watering scent of fried fish filled the cozy space, while the drifting smoke softened the lamplight, evoking a family warmth Diep had never known. With dinner ready, Diep dozed off on the old sofa, resting her head on James's hand, her steady breathing reminiscent of a tired child at the end of a long day. Gently, James stirred her awake, his tender voice saying, "Diep, time to wake up and eat." Startled, she sat up, tousled hair framing a sheepish smile. "I'm sorry, I guess your chair is just too comfortable." They sat down to eat as the soft glow from the oil lamp lit the scarred wooden table, highlighting plates of golden spring rolls and steaming bowls of rice that radiated warmth and comfort. Suddenly, one of James's friends stopped by with a small gift wrapped in old newspaper, the sound of the doorbell echoing in the quiet night. "Hey there, it's been too long, my friend," Tung greeted jovially as he stepped inside, his vibrant energy lighting up the room. "Come, sit down and share a meal with us," James exclaimed, adding another bowl to the table, his eyes lighting up at the sight of his old friend. Diep smiled softly at Tung, her hands intertwining under the table, a quiet moment of connection. Shortly after, James's younger brother, just back from a business trip, arrived, his muddy shoes leaving traces on the wooden floor. "Big brother, I'm home," he announced. Surprised, James rose to greet him with a hearty pat on the shoulder. "You're back early." The family gathered to eat and chat, the clinking of chopsticks and shared laughter echoing warmly throughout the modest home. "My brother is quite the catch, already at the age to be settling down. It would be perfect if he could find a partner who could help run the business," his brother joked, casting a playful glance at Diep. Her heart raced with uncertainty as old insecurities, remnants of her painful past, began to stir like a cold wind. After everyone had left and the house returned to its quiet solitude, Diep looked into James's eyes and whispered, "Thank you for today. I don't know how I can ever repay you." James smiled tenderly, his eyes soft as the glow of an oil lamp. "I thank you too. Without you, I wouldn't know what true love is." He squeezed her hand, the warmth of his touch spreading through her. "You mean everything to me." Diep smiled through tears that glistened in the dim light, her heart both soaring and aching with memories of Pau, the brutal beatings, the days of hunger on cold, discarded meals. But James's loving gaze melted away those dark shadows, rekindling her belief in tomorrow like the moonlight illuminating a once-lost path. In a heartwarming gesture, James even dressed up as Santa Claus and joined Diep in giving gifts to underprivileged children, spreading joy to those in need. Yet, Diep's past still lingered like a ghost, and the interference of James's father grew ever more pronounced. Can their love endure these mounting challenges? Find out in episode 19, A Christmas Night, where all will be revealed.
Thằng Thế Diệp quay lại thấy lythieuca đang bước tới, tay bé đứa con nhỏ tên Han, khuôn mặt trẻ trung nhưng ánh mắt lên sự từng trải. Lythieuca, một cô gái 18 tuổi từng bị chồng và mẹ chồng ruồng bỏ vì hoàn cảnh gia đình nơi đây. Giờ đây sống dựa vào việc bán rau và làm thuê. Cô có mái tóc ngắn rối bù, đôi mắt sáng nhưng luôn mang nỗi buồn có dấu. Lythieuca tiếp tục, "Chị ngồi nghỉ một chút đi, để em giúp chị rửa rau." Han cũng thích chơi bên bờ suối này. Diệp mỉm cười yếu ớt, "Cảm ơn em, Lythieuca. Chị đang nghĩ ngợi linh tinh thôi, em khỏe không? Han có ấy không?" Lythieuca đặt Han xuống để cậu bé nghịch nước và đáp, "Em ổn chị ạ." Han ngoan lắm, "Chỉ quấy khi đói thôi, nhưng em lo lắm. Chồng em vừa ra trại lại đi làm thuê xa, không biết có bị bắt lại không."